Well, one hot item this holiday season, video game consoles. But good luck finding one. Our Josh Lipton joins us now with the details. Hey, Josh.
So, Melissa, the biggest console launch ever. That is how Sony is describing the launch of its new PlayStation 5 console. Now, we don't have hard numbers from the company detailing what that means exactly, but presumably, analysts say, that means they shipped more than they did in Q4 2013, the last time they launched a new console. That number, remember, 4.2 million. And Sony now says more inventory will be coming before the end of the year. However, it's no secret that it hasn't been easy to find these new consoles from Sony or Microsoft, which launched the new Xbox Series X and S. In fact, a Microsoft executive recently suggested that its new consoles will be supply constrained into next year. So why this shortage? Well, IDC's Lewis Ward says demand is way up as more people all over the world are now looking for in-home entertainment due to the pandemic. Also, he notes that the companies do usually limit volume, at least early on. That's because margins are thin due to new pricey components. That changes over time, of course, as component prices drop and volume then picks up. So who's going to win this war? At least in the near term, Lewis Ward tells us that he's going to place his bet on Sony. He forecasts Sony to sell 5 million PS5 consoles by the end of the year. For Microsoft, he estimates 3.7 million Xbox Series X and S consoles. Back to you all.
All right, Josh, thanks. Josh Lipton. Bonawyn, I'm not sure if you're in the market for a console or not, but what is the trade? We've known that video games have been hot during this pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, I remember back when I was a kid and played these regularly and I could never get them or waiting in these extremely long lines. So I don't really think that's much of a change. But when I'm looking at the competitive landscape and looking at the space, right, I still think that investors continue to want to demand growth. And for that reason, I'm taking a look at Take-Two. I realize it trades at about 30 times next year's price to earnings, which is rich vis-a-vis the space. But if you look at the revenue growth and the free cash flow that company spits off, I think that multiple is well justified. And that's kind of how I'm looking in terms of, you know, one of the participants that can win out in that space.
Yeah, Grasso, where do you go?
So I like the Take-Two because Take-Two is actually right at resistance levels. Actually, it looks like it's going to break through that 175, 180 level. Electronic Arts has rolled over. And if you look at ATVI, that has rolled over as well. I'm all talking technicals here. So even though kids are clamoring around for their Xbox or their PlayStation, that we used to play this with NVIDIA because you wanted to have that gaming chip, or you would say, let's play it through Microsoft. But I think both of those names are getting hit with that rotation out of growth and into value. But if you're going to play the gaming, I think we just stick and make it easy. And I'll go, hand up with Bonawyn's Take-Two.
Yeah, Mike, you have been in the market for some of these consoles for your own kids, and you haven't found them, have you?
So it's really interesting that you mention it, because the PlayStation 5 that I finally got my hands on was delivered about 45 minutes ago. I happened to order it through Walmart.com. I spent weeks. I have to tell you,
Mike, don't you think your children are watching this show and now you just blown the surprise for them?
You're giving it away.
Well,
he
first
bought
of all,
it for himself. It's for Mike. It's for Mike, not his kids.
No. You know, Steve, actually, there is something I'm getting for myself, too. The RTX 3090, that is the latest sort of series. That's the upper end of the latest series of GPUs that are coming from NVIDIA, is actually in the machine that I did order for myself. So, and that has been also very hard to come by. So, there is very high demand for that. I know that there's high demand for Xbox. I'm bullish on Sony as a result. I like the Take-Two trade. I will tell you, though, that what concerns me on this list of stocks is probably GameStop. And the reason that GameStop concerns me is because when you take a look at the way this is, it's all digital delivery for the content that all these machines are going to run. So whether you want the hardware that NVIDIA represents, whether you want the newest Microsoft Xbox, whether you want the newest Sony PlayStation, the question is that on the content side, if you're creating the content, great. If you're distributing the content and GameStop's in that business, that's going to be a more difficult situation because we're going to be getting it digitally.
Right. Tim, just quickly, do you have any Christmas surprises you like to blow on national TV?
Seriously, look, Mike, you know, what we do in my house is there are some presents that come from Santa and some presents that come from Mom and Dad. Make sure they know this one is from Mom and Dad. Otherwise, you've just spoiled Santa Claus for not only your kids, but possibly the entire country that's watching right now. Very disappointing, Mike.
Stock trading and parenting
but
tips.
if you want a gaming play.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want a gaming play, just really quickly, the best gaming company in the world is the one that owns 40% of Fortnite and Epic Games. It's Tencent. They're the biggest gaming incubator. They, by far, are the most influential gaming company in the world, and you get a lot of exposure to Chinese social, which I realize has also been dangerous at times. But Tencent, to me, is the call.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.